The Hog Call to End All by Sue Ann Kaiser and illustrated by John Stephen Gurney. Every year, Minerva tried to win a blue ribbon at the county fair, and every year Minerva won a white ribbon, or red ribbon, or no ribbon at all, but never a blue ribbon, which only made her try twice as hard the next year. This year, Minerva had worked harder than ever, all year long, and now she was ready. So was Tilly, Minerva's entry in the hog contest, a blue ribbon hog, if ever Minerva had seen one. Just after sunup, on the first day of the county fair, Minerva and her family set off for the fairgrounds with their blue ribbon hopefuls. Mama with her painting of the apple orchard at sunset, Papa with his strawberry peach rhubarb pie, Jake with his popsicle stick birdhouse, and Minerva with Tilly. Have you ever been to a fair? At the fair, Tilly seemed right at home in her animal barn. But when Minerva tried to leave, Tilly kicked up such a ruckus that Mr. Snyder, the barn manager, came running. "Stop that racket this instant," he said. Minerva hugged Tilly's neck and kissed her on the snout, which was so sensitive that Tilly didn't allow anyone but Minerva to touch it. Tilly calmed down right away. "She minds well," said Minerva proudly, "and besides being the biggest, cleanest, smartest hog around, Tilly can fetch and roll over and come when she's called better than any dog. She's going to win us a blue ribbon." "Don't count on it," said Mr. Snyder. "After all, a hog is a hog." "Pay no attention to him," Minerva told Tilly. "You look like a blue ribbon hog to me." Minerva popped a breath mint into Tilly's mouth. "Now you smell like a blue ribbon hog too," she said. Tilly grunted and chewed happily, and this time she let Minerva leave without a fuss. The hog contest wasn't until 4 o'clock, so Minerva went to see the rest of the fair. She rode the Ferris wheel 5 times. And what's your favorite activity at the fair? And what's your favorite kind of pie? She strolled through the Hall of Mirrors in the haunted house. She drenched Principal Whitney at the dunking booth. She visited Mama's and Papa's and Jake's contests to see how their entries had fared. She sampled all 22 kinds of chili at the 5-alarm chili cook-off. And while she was eating a snow cone to cool off her mouth, she heard an announcement. "This is the final call for contestants for the hog calling contest over at the bandstand, and the first call for the pie eating contest by the Ferris wheel." Minerva didn't care much for pie, but she figured the hog calling contest was worth a try. After all, Tilly had given her lots of practice. So Minerva sprinted all the way to the bandstand and arrived just in time to be the last to sign up. What do you think a hog call sounds like? The first caller stepped forward. "Suey!" he called. "Here, pig, pig, pig!" The crowd clapped. The judges nodded and marked their clipboards. Minerva listened to caller after caller, and finally it was her turn. She breathed in deeply until her lungs were fit to burst. She pretended that Tilly was all the way down at the bottom of the orchard, noisily munching apples. "Suey!" she belted. "Here, Tilly, Tilly! Suey, Tilly!" The crowd cheered. Suddenly there was a loud crash off in the direction of the animal barn. Then came a great thudding, clumpity, clumpity, thumpity, thump, and a great deal of snorting and grunting. A rooster tail of sawdust headed straight for the bandstand. Fairgoers jumped to the left and right to clear a path. Finally, something big lurched out of the crowd and snorted to a halt right in front of Minerva. "Tilly!" gasped Minerva. Tilly grunted. She seemed quite pleased with herself. The crowd roared with laughter. The only person who wasn't laughing was Mr. Snyder. He jogged up, puffing and panting. "Back to the barn this instant, you troublemaker!" he roared. Mr. Snyder stepped in front of Tilly and reached for her. "Don't touch her snout!" Minerva shouted, but it was too late. Mr. Snyder gave Tilly a big shove right on the end of her tender pink snout. Tilly reared up on her hind legs. She opened her huge mouth and squealed so loudly that Mr. Snyder's hair stood on end. Mr. Snyder took off running, and Tilly charged after him. She chased him over the bandstand and under the grandstand and through the funhouse. Finally, to the crowd's delight, Tilly chased Mr. Snyder on the Ferris wheel. When the sawdust cleared, the judges awarded Minerva the blue ribbon for what became known to counter it as the hog call to end all. And even though everyone agreed Tilly would have won the hog contest, she was disqualified because she refused to return to the barn. There was plenty of other contests at the fair. And after all, a blue ribbon hog is a blue ribbon hog. The end.